Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon everyone. Hi. Awalnya korang? Tak dah awal sangat, pukul 12 dah. Lupa, sini sikit. Good afternoon. Nama dia di minit Jin. Waalaikumsalam. Okay. Right, everyone, don't forget to key in your attendance, please. Jangan lupa key in attendance. Today, we are going to start with a new chapter. (12:03) dah. Boleh lah kot. Saya rasa saya start awal sikit lah. So, okay. Right. So, welcome back everyone. Today we are going to learn a new chapter, sequences and series. So, this is the first lecture out of 3. So, we are going to spend 3 hours for sequences and series. So, I think today we are going to learn the definition about sequences and series and then some arithmetic sequence. Okay, so let us go straight away to the learning outcome for today. So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to write the n term of simple sequences and series and then determine the n term of an arithmetic sequence and series. So this is the way or the formula for the n. So n term that simply means Tn. So the formula for Tn is Tn equal to A plus n minus 1d. And to use the sum formula, so t represent the term and s represent the sum. So sum n over 2 to a plus n minus 1d and Sn equal to n over 2 a plus l. So this is not 1, this is L. L yang huruf kecil tu. So dia nampak macam 1 tapi bukan, the L. Okay, so now let us go. Definition of sequence and series. A sequence is a function whose domain is the set of natural numbers. So the values of f1, f2, f3 are called the terms of the sequence. A series is the sum of the term of a sequence. We write the sum of the first n term as Sn. Okay, so now sequence and term. Okay, so sequence. If you have T1, T2, T3, so these are called as sequence. So what is series? Series is when you write them down as T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 ... up until the end. So this is series. So one of them are using comma, one of them are using plus. So those are the difference between sequence and series. Example of sequence 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, . So those are sequence because we can see we have some comma over there. Okay, so now definition of sequence and series. Okay, so a set of number arranged in n order. So we arrange them in order. So 1, 3, 5, 7, . If we have 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus ... those are the sum of the terms of sequence. So we're gonna call them as series. Sequence, series. Those are the difference between sequence and series. So sequence arranged in order, series the sum. Okay, next. Tips, odd number. So odd number is 1, 3, 5, 7, . So if you want to write them down with n, we normally use 2n minus 1. So this is if n is equal to 1. If your n is equal to 0, then that means the last one, we are going to have 2n plus 1. Sebab kita start dengan n sama dengan kosong. So kalau kita masuk dalam ni, 2 times 0 plus 1. So we're gonna get 1. So the last one will be 2n plus 1. Okay, so odd and even number. Okay, so example 1. Find the first 5 term of the sequence defined by the following general term. So this is very general. Tn equal to 2n square minus 1. Tn equal to n over n plus 1. So we want to find the first 5 terms. So that means we want to know what is the value for T1, T2, T3, T4 and T5. Okay, so how do we find the first term? So let's see, this is 1. This is n. So you're going to replace the n with 1. And then you're going to find out what is the value. So that is the first term. If you want to find the second term, replace the n with 2. If you want to find the third term, you simply replace the n with 3. The fourth term, replace with 4. The fifth term, replace with 5. Okay, so now let us see. So that is the n term. So replace 1, we get 1. Replace 2, we get 7. Replace 3, we get 17. Replace 4, we got 31. Replace 5, we get 49. So that is how you get the first 5 terms. So kita ganti je dekat tempat yang ada and so the first 5 terms are 1, 7, 17, 31 and 49. Okay, so replace the n with the number. First term, n equal to 1. Second term, n equal to 2. Third term, n equal to 3. Fourth term, n equal to 4 and so on. Okay, so now I have 1b. So Tn is equal to n over n plus 1. So I give you 1 minute to do this one. Get the first 5 term for this. 1 minit bermula daripada sekarang. Okay, 1 minute done. So now let us check. Okay, so substitute n with 1. So T1 is 1 over 2, 2 over 3, 3 over 4, 4 over 5, 5 over 6. Okay, so the first 5 terms are 1 over 2, 2 over 3, 3 over 4, 4 over 5, 5 over 6. Okay, done. So now the next one. Find the n term of a sequence whose the first several terms are given. Okay, so we have 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. And then another one is 1 over 2, 3 over 4, 5 over 6, 7 over 8, and so on. Okay, so now let us look at A. So we have 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. So now the basic thing, normally sometimes we want to know what do we have in common between them. Okay, so now 4 and 7. The difference for this one is 3. 3 and 10. The difference for this one is 3. 7 and 10. 10 and 13. The difference is also 3. 13 and 16. this is also 3. So I do have something in common where the difference is always 3. So let us compare that with a multiple of 3. So if I have a multiple of 3, it should be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, so now what is the difference between 3 and 4, 6 and 7, 9 and 10, 12 and 13, 15 and 16? Apa beza dia? 3 dengan 4, 3 kena tambah 1 baru dapat 4. 6 kena tambah 1 baru dapat 7. 9 tambah 1 dapat 10. 12 plus 1 is 13. 15 plus 1 is 16. Okay, so since we know this is a multiple of 3, so Tn should be 3 times with n, and then you simply plus with 1. So if n is equal to 1, we are going to get 3 times 1 plus 1. So we are going to get 4. If the n is 2, so this is the second term, 3 times 2 plus 1. So we are going to get 7. So itu contoh dia lah. Sebab masa ni dia macam konon-konon tak belajar arithmetic lagi lah. So we just macam assume sajalah. Okay, so that means Tn will be 3n plus 1. So the way we write them down is 3n plus 1 starting from n equal to 1 up until 5. Biasanya kita tulis macam ni lah. Okay, so done with this. Let us refer to the second one. Okay, so now some tips over here, odd number and even number. So we do see some odd number in our numerator and some even number in our denominator. So we're going to choose this one. Sebab dia bahagian nombor dia kan macam apa? 1/2, 1/2, 3/4, 5/6, 7/8, right? So if you look at your numerator, so this is your numerator. Numerator is the odd number. For our denominator is the even number. Okay, so odd number, you can choose either to use this one or you can choose to use this one, either one. Tapi biasanya kita akan n tu term yang pertama, so kita akan start dengan yang ni lah. N equal to 1, n equal to 1. So odd number, even number. So odd number for my numerator, I'm going to use this one. My denominator, I'm going to use this one. Okay, so it will be 2n minus 1 over 2n. So kita pilih yang n sama dengan 1 lah. Baru dia represent sebagai first term. Sebab bila first term, n dia 1. Okay, tak apa. Ni just nak tahu je sequence tu. Okay, next. The partial sum of a sequence. For the sequence, the partial sum are, so if let's say you want to find the sum of the first term, so that is simply the first term. If you want to find the sum of the first two terms, so sum of the first two term, that is the first term plus with the second term. If you have the sum of the first three terms, then it will be the first term plus the second term plus the third term. So that means if you have to find the sum of the first n term, oh payahnya nak sebut, sum of the first n term, so it will be term 1, second term, third term plus up until the n term. So yang ni sum of the first n terms. So kita tambah sampai m lah, kita sampai n. Okay, so this is sum of the first n minus 1 term because we have n minus 1 here. So sum of the first n minus 1 term. All just names actually. Okay, so that means in order to calculate the n term, what do we need to do is that we have to take the sum of the first n term. So sum of the first n term up until Tn minus with sum of the first n minus 1 term. So up until Tn minus 1. So when you deduct them, you will be left with Tn. So this is the general formula if we want to calculate some specific term. So Tn is Sn minus Sn minus 1. Okay, so if you didn't have your notes yet, do make sure to write this one down, like this one. Jangan lupa tulis lah formula ni, nanti kan pening pula. Okay, done. Next. Okay, so now this is a finite and infinite series. So why do we call it finite or infinite? The difference between them is with this, the plus dot dot dot. So if you have plus dot dot dot, it means it keep on going. So infinite. If you stop up until 5, so this is a finite series. Maksudnya dia stop lah sampai situ. Infinite maksudnya panjang lagi lah. Ada lagi belakang-belakang. Okay, so now welcome to the question. Okay, so now given that Sn is 2n square plus 3n, find the sum of the first 5 terms and the next 5 terms. And then B, we have to calculate the 5th term. Okay, so sum of the first 5 term. The first 5 term, it simply means S of 5. Okay, so to calculate S5, we are given the formula using S. So we simply substitute the n with 5. So we are going to get S5. So the value for S5 is 65. So 2 times with 5 square plus with 3 times with 5. So that one will become 65. Okay, so what do we mean by the sum of the next 5 terms? Okay, so we have T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. So this is actually S5 or the sum of the first 5 terms. The next 5 term, that means I simply want to know what is the value when I'm adding T6 plus T7 plus T8 plus T9 plus T10. What is the value of this? So this is what do we mean by the next 5 term. So bila kita tambah T6 tambah T7, the next 5 term tu S10 minus S5. Yes, betul. Sebab kita nak dapatkan T6 plus T7 plus T8 plus T9 plus T10. Dia nak terang dia payah sikit tapi dalam kerja dia senang je. Okay, so sum of the first 5 term. So we're gonna use S10. So because we have the formula for S, the sum. So we got to calculate for S10 first. So everything starting from T1 up until T10. And then we simply deduct with the S5. So S10 minus with S5. So you substitute N with 10. So it will become 2 10 square plus with 3 times with 10. So that is S10 minus with the S5. So it will give you 165. Okay, so that is for sum of the next 5 term. Nak sebut pun payah. Okay, B, the 5th term. So now I want to get what is T5. Okay, so basically I only have been given as n. So that means I didn't know what is the value of Tn. So to find T5, I have to use the formula that we have before this, where Tn is actually equal to Sn minus Sn minus 1. Sebab kita ada formula Sn, so kita kena pakai rumus untuk Sn lah nak cari T5 tu. Kalau kita ada formula untuk T, kita boleh cari T terus. Tapi ni tak ada, so kena pakai formula S lah. Okay, so Sn. So I want to get T5. So that means this is S5 minus S of 4. So we're going to replace the N with 5 minus, we replace the N with 4. So S5 minus S4. So 65, we already calculated that part earlier. S4, you substitute N with 4. So 2 times with 4 square minus 3 times 4. Oops. So the answer for this one will be 21. Final answer. Okay, so now let us proceed to arithmetic. Okay, definition of arithmetic sequence. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence of the form A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D, dot, dot, dot. Okay, so what is A? A is actually the first term and D is the common difference of the sequence. So that means the nth term of the arithmetic sequence is given by Tn equal to A plus n minus 1 D. Okay, so this is the nth term. A is the first term or T1 or the first term. D is actually the common difference. Okay, so if you don't have your book yet, please write down this one. Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 D. Okay, so now let us try one example. Find the nth term for the arithmetic sequence 9, 4, negative 11, negative 1, negative 6. And then the last one, this is supposed to be negative 11. Negative 11. Okay, so now firstly, let us check what is the first term. Okay, first term. This is the first one. So that means your first term is 9. Common difference, so we're going to take second term, T2 minus with T1. So 4 minus with 9, so we are going to get negative 5. So that is the common difference, T2 minus T1. So now, in order to calculate the nth term, we got to substitute into the formula. Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1D. So this is A plus n minus 1D. So substitute A is 9, n is simply n minus 1. Substitute the value of D and then you expand and simplify that a little bit. So you are going to get Tn equal to 14 minus 5. And so this is the n term. Okay, now let us go to the next one. Okay, yang ni saya rasa saya boleh bagi masa sikit untuk awak jawab kot. Saya bagi clue sikit and then I'll leave that to you. Okay, so now the 11th term of an arithmetic sequence is 52. So make sure when you read the question, if this is a sentence question, read it one by one and then change it to mathematical formula. 11th term, so that means this one is supposed to be T11 of an arithmetic sequence is 52. Is, that means this is equal to 52. And the 19th term is 92. So 19th term, so T of 19 is equal to 92. Find the 1000 term. So that means we want to know T of 1000 equal to what? Okay, so we are given T11 equal to 52, T of 19 equal to 92. So you substitute into Tn equal to A plus n minus 1 D. So if we have T of 11, do make sure to replace the n with 11. If we have T of 19, replace the n with 19 and then solve them simultaneously, find out what is the value of A and find out what is the value of D. So those are the two things that you have to know. What is the value of A and what is the value of D? Once you know the value of A and D, then we can easily substitute to calculate T of 1000. Can you? So we know two information over here. T of 11 equal to 52. T of 19 equal to 92. Substitute into this formula. Replace the n with this value, 11 and 19, and then do make sure to solve it simultaneously to calculate the value of A and D. So now I think I'll give you around 5 minutes. We do have quite a lot of time. So I give you around 5 minutes for you to try to solve them on your own. So find out what is the value of A and D, and then find out the value of T1000. If you know the value, then you can easily write them down over there. Boleh ke tu? Kena solve simultaneous equation lah. Hati-hati buat simultaneous equation. Oh, by the way, nanti awak dah daftar sekalipun, kuliah tetap online juga tau. So, kuliah masih dekat YouTube juga. Tapi kalau kata ada masalah ke apa ke, bagi tahu saya lah. Inform saya dekat dalam group, nanti kita discuss macam mana nak buat. A2 D5 4997. Betul lah. Ni tengok. Ada lagi 2 minit. Cepatnya korang kita. Sekejap lah, kita bagi orang lain tunggu kak. Senang soalan dia. Senang je madam. Sequences sensitif pernah belajar kan sebelum ni. Okay lah tu. Hari ni tak ramai sangat lah. Kenal je ni. Okey lah kalau senang. Bersyukurlah ada topik yang awak rasa senang. Okay, so since nampak macam ramai yang dah dapat je, jom kita proceed lah. Sekejap saya off dulu. Saya kira kan dia tiba-tiba bunyi, kita kejut lagi kan. Okay. Join lah, nak join. Ada orang rindu materi lah. Awak rindu saya lah. Kami. Sian. Okay, so now let us solve this. Okay, so Tn is a plus n minus 1d. Okay, so substitute. T11 is a plus 10d equal to 52. T19 is a plus 18d equal to 92. So you got to do the second equation minus with the first equation. So a will be equal to 2, d will be equal to 5. So well done. Dapat A 2, D 5 betul. Okay, so now the last one. Okay, so E of 1000. 1000. So 5 times with 1000 minus with 3. So that one will be 4997. So betul. Well done everyone. So semua orang boleh buat sini. Ramai buat sini. Tahniah. Amirah pun kalau betul boleh buat sini kak. Tahniah, betul. Okay, next. Right, so sum of the first n term of an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so we actually have two formula for them. So you can either use n over 2 times with 2a plus n minus 1d, or you can use n over 2a plus l. Okay, so what is the difference between them? What is L? L is actually Tn or the last term. So kalau nak simplify boleh jugalah. Daripada sini kita boleh simplify sebenarnya. Awak asingkan A tu. So 2A, you get A plus n minus 1D. But this one is actually Tn or the last term. So this is actually L, the last term. So if let's say we do know what is the value of the first term and the last term, normally we have to use n over 2a plus L. That will be easier. If you didn't know what is the value of the last term and you simply know what is the value for the first term and the common difference, normally we are going to use the first formula. So this one is when you know the first term and the common difference. The second formula is when you know what is the value for the first term as well as the last term. You know the value. Okay, so now let us go to example 6. Find the sum of the first 50 odd numbers. Okay, so list down first. What is the first odd number that you know? And what is the 50 term of the odd number? Ada siapa-siapa boleh bagi list? What is the first odd number that you know? And what do you think T50 of the odd number will be? What is the T1 and what is the T50? Ataupun saya tanya yang senang dulu lah. What is the first odd number? Oh, by the way. 1. Yep. The first odd number should be 1. So that is the first odd number, 1. The second odd number is 3. The third odd number is 5. And then 7. And then ... So now we want to know what is the last one. Okay, so how do we check what is the last term? Okay, so if you didn't know what is T50, that means we have to calculate first. So find out what is your first term and what is the common difference. And then let us substitute into T50 to know what is the 50 term. Okay, so now A is equal to 1. T or the common difference is 2. So the formula for Tn is A plus n minus 1D. So that will give you 2n minus 1. So T of 50, that is simply 2 times with 50 minus 1. So that is equal to 99. So we do know this number is actually up until 99. Okay, so how do we use the formula? Right, so Sn is equal to n over 2, A plus L. So n is 50 over 2. A is the first term, which is 1. The 50th term is 99. So that means the value will be 2500 or 2500. Dia biasanya sequence and series ni kalau tak boleh jawab sebab tak faham soalan je biasanya. Okay, so now I'll give you some times to do example 7. How many terms of the arithmetic sequence 5, 7, 9 must be added to get 5, 7, 2? How many terms? That means I want to know what is the value of n such that when I add everything together, I should get 5, 7, 2. Must be added. Must be added, that means we are looking for S. So S of n is equal to 5, 7, 2. What is the value of n? So, kenapa perlu cari last term, madam? Oh, yang tadi tu Sekejap Saya patah balik Okay, so kenapa perlu cari last term? Sebab formula dia adalah n over 2 a plus l. Sebab saya nak pakai formula yang ni lah. Kalau awak pakai n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1d, yang ni tak perlu pun tak apa. Sajalah sebab you guys kan macam tak pernah guna a plus l. Sengaja lah. Boleh tak Miss cakap tu? Sengaja lah nak pakai yang ada l. Walaupun boleh pakai yang ni. Dia kan ada dua formula. Syok tukar-tukar sikit. Pakai formula biasa-biasa je. Sajalah dia tak pernah guna L, kita ajar sikit. Bagi nampak macam wow. Okay, so now Sn is equal to 572. Please find out what is the value of n. So yang ni saya tunggulah sampai awak dapat jawapan. Tengok boleh dapat tak. Tadi saya bagi 5 minit kan. 5 minit jugalah. Tengok dapat ke tak. Kalau tak dapat kita boleh tambah masa kecederaan. Mana Amirah tadi? Hilang dah. Amirah senior kena dapat jawapan. Oh yo, laju lah. Wei so fast lah Wei. Hui Chi pun. Hui cepatnya. 22. Miss baru bagi masa untuk kira. Kira dah. Wow. Wait. We wait for other people as well. I think they are still looking for their pen. So let us wait for them. I think we can finish the class a little bit early today. Wah lambat. Tak habis lagi. We still got 3 minutes left. So other people, you can still try. Who knows? They might give the wrong answer, you know. So you should try it yourself. Hundred percent correct. Ooh. Tiba-tiba je ada lebah. Oh, distracted. Oh, Fang pun dah dapat. Fang Ayi pun dah dapat. Ya, berapa orang dah dapat ni? 1, 2, 3, 4. Adakah anda pasti jawapannya 22? Oh, Afiq pun dah dapat. 22 juga. Betul ke ni? 22. Steam medium 100%. Sabar je lah. Confident itu penting. Baguslah confident. Sat-sat kita tunggu orang lain juga. Asal orang lain macam tak tahu apa cerita ni. Wah, ramai dah tu bagi 22. Mohonlah kita kira. Betul ke 22? Oh, salah sana. Cing. Okay, so now A is equal to 5, B is 2, given that Sn is equal to 572. So we simply substitute into the formula. So you got to bring the 2 to the right hand side, or you can actually simplify the 2. So 2 nak bawa pergi kanan boleh, ataupun nak simplify dekat situ pun boleh. Sebab kita ada 2 dekat sini, 2 dekat sini. So nak simplify pun boleh lah. Okay, so simplify them. We are going to get 5n plus n times with n minus 1 equal to 572. So this is a quadratic. So you factorize them, you're going to get 2 value, n minus 22, n plus 26 equal to 0. So you will have 2 value of n equal to 22, n equal to negative 26. So now the reason why we are choosing only n equal to 22 is because we need to have something in natural number, ataupun kita nak nombor yang positif saja. Sebab kita bercakap tentang term kan, so first term, second term, third term and so on. So we don't want to have something with negative 26 term, tak boleh. So dia mesti kena positif sahaja. So that is why n is equal to 22. Alright, so well done everyone. Tahniah semua orang. Okay, so saya rasa itu sahaja. Saya nak sambung geometri tapi saya takut nanti it's gonna be over nanti. Kalau nak sambung geometri takut lama sangat. So saya rasa tak apalah, hari ni saya bagi semua orang rehat awal sikit. Okay, so with that, I'll see you guys next week. So next week we are going to do geometric sequence, and then after geometric sequence, I think we will start with binomial expansion. So nanti kita belajar macam mana nak expand, and then Pascal triangle as well. So Pascal triangle first, and then binomial expansion. Okay, so saya jumpa awak semua minggu depan. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you class. And welcome back to KMK. So for those who are here, please say hi to me whenever you see me. Okay, so bye-bye everyone. Welcome. Tutup.